Florida calls itself the Gunshine State, but is that nickname really deserved? In 2023, Governor Ron DeSantis signed HB 543, giving Floridians permitless concealed carry, and making Florida the 26th state to drop the license requirement. For many gun owners, it felt like a huge victory, a long overdue step toward restoring the Second Amendment. But it was only half the meal. Open carry of handguns remains illegal. Red flag laws are still on the books, and Florida finds itself in an awkward middle ground between freedom and restriction. Now, in 2025, the battle lines are being drawn once again. House Bill 31 promises to expand carry rights further, repeal the state's controversial red flag law, and finally push Florida into the ranks of true constitutional carry states. The question is whether lawmakers will deliver, or whether the Gunshine State will keep playing dress-up while other states pass it by. For decades, Florida cultivated the image of a pro-gun paradise. Gun shows, hunting culture, and millions of concealed carry license holders fed into the legend. But the reality was always more complicated. Until 2023, anyone who wanted to carry a handgun concealed had to pay nearly $100, submit fingerprints, sit through mandatory classes, and then wait weeks or even months for approval. Oddly enough, it wasn't the police who processed those permits, but the Department of Agriculture. The same agency that inspects citrus fruit and cattle was deciding whether or not you could carry a Glock on your hip. Florida had one of the largest concealed carry licensing pools in the nation, but every one of those license holders had the same thought: why do I need a laminated permission slip to exercise a constitutional right, especially when my neighbors in Alabama or Georgia can carry freely without one? By 2023, the pressure was boiling. Constitutional carry had already swept across dozens of states. Florida gun owners were tired of waiting. And when Governor DeSantis signed HB 543, the change was immediate. As of July 1, 2023, law-abiding Floridians over 21 could carry concealed without needing the state's permission card. It felt like freedom finally, but only halfway. Because while concealed carry without a permit was now legal, open carry remained flat-out banned. Step outside with a holstered pistol, visible on your hip, and you weren't just breaking etiquette, you were breaking the law. This is where Florida stumbles. In a state that brands itself as the Gunshine State, it is shocking that open carry of handguns is prohibited across the board. The only exceptions are narrow, while fishing, hunting, camping, or traveling directly to or from those activities, or when you are on a shooting range. Outside of that, if your pistol prints under your shirt or rides openly outside your waistband at the gas station, you are committing a crime. That is not constitutional carry. That is concealed only carry with training wheels. And here's the kicker: Florida now sits in the same category as states like California, New York, and Illinois, some of the most restrictive gun control environments in the country. When it comes to open carry, the so-called Gunshine State is grouped with the most anti-gun states in America. It is no wonder gun rights advocates are pushing hard for change. In December 2024, Representative Joel Rudman filed HB 31, a bill designed to finish what HB 543 started. The legislation would repeal Florida's statewide ban on open carry, and at the same time strike down the state's red flag law. For gun owners, this is the holy grail, a move that would finally make Florida a true constitutional carry state. Constitutional carry doesn't mean only if you keep it covered. It means law-abiding citizens can carry openly or concealed, without needing a permission slip from the government. HB 31 seeks to deliver that reality. If open carry is the obvious fight, repealing Florida's red flag law is the landmine. Officially called a risk protection order, the law was passed in 2018 after the Parkland school shooting. It allows judges to temporarily remove firearms from someone deemed a danger to themselves or others, based on petitions filed by police or family members. On paper, it sounds like a sensible precaution. In practice, it has been criticized as ripe for abuse. A bitter ex, a vengeful neighbor, or even a concerned family member can trigger the process. Suddenly, you're in court, unarmed, fighting to prove your innocence and reclaim your property. For many gun owners, it feels like punishment first, due process later. Since 2018, thousands of petitions have been filed under the law. Supporters claim it has saved lives by preventing potential tragedies. Opponents counter that existing criminal laws and mental health statutes already cover truly dangerous individuals. They argue the red flag law simply creates a shortcut that strips constitutional rights without proper safeguards. HB 31 doesn't just tackle open carry, it goes right at the heart of this law, seeking to repeal it entirely. If passed, Florida would join states like Texas and Arizona, where red flag laws don't exist. Surprisingly, the biggest obstacle to open carry in Florida isn't Democrats in Washington or national gun control groups. It's local sheriffs. The Florida Sheriff's Association has been one of the loudest voices opposing open carry, arguing that visible handguns in public will alarm citizens and complicate law enforcement. They warn of chaos in grocery stores and shopping centers if open carry is legalized. And here's the twist: many Republican lawmakers are siding with them. Senate President Ben Albritton, a Republican, has openly stated he does not support open carry. Despite holding a Republican supermajority in Tallahassee, resistance within the party threatens to derail HB31. For ordinary gun owners, this feels like betrayal. They gave Republicans control of the state legislature, celebrated when DeSantis signed permitless concealed carry, and now watch as their own so-called pro-Second Amendment leaders stall progress because sheriffs oppose it. To many, it's proof that political promises don't always equal action. So where does that leave Florida in 2025? At a crossroads. On one path, HB31 passes, repealing the open carry ban and dismantling the red flag law. Florida would leap from halfway free to fully free, becoming one of the most permissive gun states in the nation. With 22 million residents, that would send shockwaves nationwide. Lawmakers in restrictive states would be forced to ask, if Florida can do it, why can't we? On the other path, HB31 fails. Sheriffs and hesitant Republicans block the bill, and Florida remains stuck in its halfway zone. Permitless concealed carry on paper, but bans and restrictions that undermine the image of true freedom. The debate isn't just legal, it's cultural. Gun owners argue that normalizing open carry reduces stigma. When responsible citizens openly carry, it challenges the narrative that only criminals or police should have firearms. It makes self-defense visible, accepted, and part of everyday life. Critics say the opposite, that open carry intimidates the public and could escalate confrontations. The clash between these worldviews defines the broader constitutional carry movement. Whatever Florida decides will resonate far beyond its borders. As the third most populous state, Florida sets trends. Just as the passage of permitless concealed carry in 2023 inspired activists in other states, passage of HB31 would set a new benchmark. If Florida becomes a true constitutional carry state, pressure mounts on places like Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and even Texas to match or exceed that standard. If Florida fails, opponents of constitutional carry will point to the setback as evidence that even gun-friendly states have limits. Florida's gun rights battle is far from over. HB 543 gave Floridians a taste of freedom, but it wasn't the full meal. Now HB 31 holds the potential to deliver true constitutional carry by legalizing open carry and repealing red flag laws. The fight pits grassroots gun owners against sheriffs, politicians, and entrenched interests. The outcome will determine whether Florida lives up to its Gunshine State nickname or remains stuck halfway, bragging about freedom while hiding restrictions in the fine print. So, what do you think? Should Florida take the leap and embrace full constitutional carry, open and concealed, without red flag restrictions? Or should it keep the status quo, permitless in name but limited in practice? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because this isn't just a Florida story, it's a national story. The battle for the Second Amendment never ends, and together, we'll keep breaking it down right here.